Oh, intensified. Just like the World Trade Center collapsed when a commercial airline flight intensified.
Did I hear that right, Amy? It sounded like Tucker Carlson was sort of admitting that there was something wrong with 9/11.
I know. I heard that too. I was very shocked when he said that.
Why would he bring that in on this as well, by the way? Why would he do that?
What's that?
Why would he bring 9/11 in on this?
I know. It was very bizarre. It really struck me when I heard him say that.
Well, we're just going to... We don't have the answers for everything, everybody, but we're just noticing some of the things he's saying. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue with the video and just put that bit back in, aren't we, what he said twice. I'll just play it again so that people can hear what he said.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Amy.
You're welcome, Karen.
Oh, intensified. Just like the World Trade Center collapsed when a commercial airline flight intensified.
Go ahead and make this easier for the dummies because they're so lazy. I can't make this up. This is Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna click on the donate button. You give money to Black Lives Matter, that money's going to shit that's not going to Black Lives Matter. Now, I proved it. You guys can go look yourself. Don't give any money to Black Lives Matter because it's about destroying this nation. Don't you understand that? And bringing communism in here. Floyd's family wants the United Nations to police this country. And if you're a Democrat and you don't like Republicans, George Bush Sr., he addressed the nation, look it up. He wants a new world order with the United Nations to police the world. And that's why the mainstream media and social media has been attacking police and sheriff's offices, so you don't like them anymore. So we would go, oh, we want a reset, we want something new, and they'll bring the UN in. You have no idea what's going on. Start opening your eyes. Ed Mack.
My name is Joey Rocha, and I'm excited to bring you this news today. Thank you for joining me for an episode of Q&A on the Black Lives Matters movement. Here's the great news. People are waking up to the fact that the Black Lives Matters movement is an evil, pure evil movement. And the good news is that you see at these Black Lives Matters protests, you see anti-Black Lives Matters people going and protesting against them, saying, look, there is no such thing as systemic racism. There is no racism going on in America. I was watching for the last few days, and I'm so excited and so impressed to see that people are standing up to this evil, evil movement. A lot of people think that the Black Lives Matters movement is for black people, but Black Lives Matters don't matter to the Black Lives movement.
I'm just looking at this picture of Tucker Carlson. You know, when you think, well, me and Amy have been talking, I can't say what everybody really thinks about that in their own world, but I swear I can't handle it. We've got Tucker Carlson with a U on top of his lip. We've got like a letter there which looks like an R on its side, and he's got a number 1 or something like that on his neck, and there's also something there. But do you see the U? Do you see U? Where's it on? Yeah, disgusting. You can really see these numbers, letters rather. I didn't notice it on him before. Did you, Amy?
No, I didn't.
And then between his eyes, there is a U again. Between his eyebrows.
Yeah.
It's just disgusting. I think he's got like a 4 and a 3 on his forehead, and then it looks like a 5, but it's a 3 and a 4 hung together. But if you look at it again, it now looks like a 5. It's most bizarre.
Right. I just don't know what all that is. Some kind of signal or some kind of message, I guess.
Oh, I don't know, Amy. They're messaging each other all the time, aren't they?
Yes. It's just very bizarre.
It is.
It's a subliminal message or something to the people. I just have no idea.
Yeah, well, Tucker Carlson's definitely got a U on his lip. On the top of his lip, there's a U, there's a letter there, there's like a number 1 there. Oh, it disgusts me.
I know it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Anyway, thanks for that, Amy. I think he's got numbers on his head as well. Looks like that could be a W up there, no joke. But how crazy.
Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, wow.
I just wanted to also show people that he's got the same sort of problem going on in his face like Trump has. Down the side of Trump's face he had problems, and so has this guy. Girl, whatever they are. Yeah. AI. Aye, Amy?
Yes, definitely.
You can see where his eye has been split. Oh my god, I've got to look a bit deeper. No. Hang on, let's go up here. So you can see the U quite clearly, but you can see his eye has been cut in there, and he's got a cut in there, and then the side of his face is funny. But yeah, we're just going to stick this bit in. Oh my goodness. Does this anyway? What to say?
A society by what shocks its leaders. For generations, what shocked the people in charge of this country was political violence, hurting your neighbors for having different opinions. They were appalled by that, and they were right to be. Political violence isn't simply an assault on individual Americans. It's an attack on America itself. In this country, we govern by consent, not by force. People with guns don't make our laws. Voters do.
Amy and I are here. Hello, Amy.
Hi, Karen.
Amy and I are here because Amy and I are going to break this Tucker Carlson video down. Aren't we, Amy?
Yes. Yes.
So what were you just saying about that bit he was talking about, Amy?
Oh, the part where he said that the voters make the laws.
Oh, very quickly before you start. What he said was, it's not the people with the guns that make the laws, it's the voters. Well, the people with the guns are the voters.
Yes, and I think that really it's the politicians who make the laws, and they are the ones that...
The corporation.
Yes, and they enforce the laws with guns, with threat of force. I think that's very oversimplified to say that the voters make the laws, because an awful lot of laws are passed that we don't
listen,
vote
we're
on.
voting for what they're giving us, so we don't make the laws. The politricks make the laws. We're voting for the politricks.
Exactly, and then they enforce it with guns, so it's not quite as simple as Mr. Carlson was saying.
Thank you, Amy. Amy, we're going on to the next bit. Thank you, my darling.
You may have a Glock in your hand, but on election day you have precisely as many votes as the little old lady who disagrees with you. That's our system. The weak are supposed to have as much power over the government as the strong, and that is the basis of our equality as Americans, something that we should cherish and protect. Political violence immediately short-circuits this. It ends democracy. Violence instead returns us to the most primitive of all systems, one in which might makes right. People who hurt others get to do exactly what they want. Everyone else has to obey them. There is no greater threat to civilization than this, and we used to understand that because it's obvious. But things have changed. The people who run this country are no longer shocked by political violence. They welcome it. They slyly encourage it. They are its beneficiaries.
Amy, tell me what you think that Tucker Carlson's trying to say here.
I think that he's trying to say that because that we should never be resorting to violence, that everything should just be about voting and being civilized.
He's just said the government are welcoming it.
Yeah, he said, because he's talking about the riots with like the Black Lives Matter movement and those kind of protests. The government is, encouraging that. Like they're allowed to go out and protest, and they don't have to practice social distancing or wear a mask and everything. So he's saying that the government is promoting that part of it, like the Black Lives Matter part.
Yeah, because it's always, you've got to, we're breaking this video down because he's saying quite a lot of stuff here.
Yeah.
Okay,
and then
carry on, Amy.
The thing is that I agree about that, we don't want violence or anything, but then again, just given the way everything is going this year with, we've had to pandemic and everything, and I think that the government has gotten too big, and it's to the point that in a way we do need...
We've been mind controlled since they came along. Queen Victoria in England passed over her powers to a government in the 1800s, and since then we've been mind controlled, and he must know this.
Right.
Anyway, thank you, Amy.
Oh, you're welcome.
They tell us the only real crimes are thought crimes. It's okay to set fires or smash strangers in the face with 2x4s, so long as you are chanting the correct slogans. If you're on the right team, everything is allowed. But if you dare to dissent from the orthodoxy, you will be swiftly punished. Go ahead and express the wrong opinion. Try it in a meeting. Try it on Facebook. They will find you. You'll lose your job, your reputation, possibly even your life. The message they're sending you is very clear. Americans are not equal anymore. There are two standards in this country, one standard for them and a very different standard for you.
So in English, and in plain English, Amy, what did he just say?
Well, I think he's saying that as long as you're going along with the official narrative that is being promoted, that it's okay. So, like, you could be violent in the name of, say, Black Lives Matter, or protesting police against the way they treat black people, that whole narrative. But if you try to, say, have a protest, you know, maybe against, like, the lockdowns or something like that, it wouldn't be okay, and they wouldn't be accepting any kind of you would never be allowed to get violent or anything like that. And like and
don't forget, Amy,
media,
if they get, because we've been locked down for so long, if we get into a group, they want the violence to happen. That's the whole point. They want a big skirmish. And that's if it's real, because they just could be stock photographs.
Exactly. I think they're just trying to promote some kind of violence so that they can use that for an excuse to bring in martial law and bring in police from the United Nations instead of our local police and everything. They want to bring in from the United Nations and have a world police. To me, it's all part of trying to make the one world government, or the new world order.
Also, if you listen in here, repeatedly it talks about the police are doing this, it's the police's fault, it's police, and everybody's against the police, and yet I think they're the crux to everything, because on a hangout with Claudio, they should be running by common law, and they're promoting corporation law, and Claudio said for all of us to tell the police, everybody, write to the police, write to your commissioner, whatever it is, and say you're promoting the wrong law, you're promoting corporation law when you should be promoting common law, and this is why they're being attacked, maybe.
That's right. That's true too.
So it's never the reason that you think it is. But anyway, Amy, we'll go on to the next bit now.
Okay.
Over the weekend, we saw exactly what they will excuse from their own supporters. Armed mobs of Joe Biden voters torched buildings, smashed cars, attacked police officers. They rioted. They hurt people, a lot of people. And the media, watching closely, lied about all of it. They pretended it didn't happen. They made excuses for it. They buried the truth in euphemism.
Amy, why doesn't he actually say what it is he's talking about? Them, you, us, we. Who is he talking about? Instead of talking about what's going on and why there's rioting, he's you, we, I, them. It's all weird.
Right. Well, the closest he got to saying what he's really talking about was Joe Biden, because Joe Biden, is, I believe that the video that you had put out where the guy is showing us about Black Lives Matter and where the money's really going to.
Yes. Obviously, I'll put a little
Biden.
clip of that in this video. Will be a couple of times in this video somewhere.
Yes, so that's about as close as he got. But what he's referring to is, Black Lives Matter, the Democrats, the really liberal social Democrats that really want socialism, and left
the one that what they're talking about, or what in Ed Mack, he says it's communism.
Yes, it's actually communism. That's
Okay.
right.
Thanks, Amy. We'll stop for that bit and we'll be back in a moment. We'll be back in a moment.
The liars of the New York Times described the riots as, quote, protests, as if the violence was justified or could be justified. Here's the truth about what happened. Here's what actually happened in Seattle over the weekend. Take a look. Protests. No, these were not protests. These were scenes from war. The rioters threw rocks, bottles, wood, explosives at police. One explosion left an 8-inch hole in a police precinct.
Wow, yeah, he's probably right about the war. This is war on the people. We said in Hangouts already, we need to stick together, that they are doing all this to break us up as a people and make us hate each other, aren't they, Amy?
That's right, Karen, yes. And it's a war in the people. And
what's really awful is that word Black Lives Matter is up there in the news every day, like pointing out people. We need to all come together. Everybody's struggling, everybody's going through this. I don't want it, and loads of people don't want it.
That's exactly
and we don't even know if
right.
any of this is true, and these people aren't setting this all up for us and making it look like there's riots everywhere when there isn't. Is that true?
Right. That's what
Everybody
I think.
stay peaceful and calmful. And yeah, we'll carry on with Tucker Carlson, but I'm not sure about them. I've already made videos about them.
Because no lie is too absurd for CNN to tell, the network described violence against police as, quote, a demonstration against police violence. Got that? It's a perfect inversion of the truth worthy of 1984. Ignorance is strength, freedom is slavery, war is peace. They repeat it because they expect you to believe it, and no doubt some do.
Oh my God, 1984 is mentioned.
Yes. Which is what we're seeing anyway with everything, with these lockdowns and everything.
But the only people that are doing it to us are them.
Exactly.
Them. It's the media. Yep. Probably including them.
That's right. It's all the media.
Yeah.
The Seattle Police Department gamely tried to push back by releasing actual body cam footage of the violence. It's not clear how many people saw it, so we're going to show some of it to you right here.
Wow, Amy, he likes putting out all the disruption on the television, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. That's right.
I've blanked it out because I don't think they'll like it, you know. He's allowed to show it, but we won't be able to. So, you know, I don't want to show I am showing the unrest, but we don't need to hear it as well. But he's talking. Why is he showing all this? You see, you have to remember that he's giving different messages all the time. He's saying different things, and he's going backwards and forwards, and he's waffling on and on.
Exactly. And, you know, we don't know if what we're seeing, what they're showing is even true. I mean, we just really don't know what it is. But
so,
I think
basically, they just put all this on, you know, we're putting all this on about fake, whatever it is. Yeah, let's all do it. We're all putting it across the news, all of us.
Right.
I mean, you know, if you listen to the guy, not Joey Rocha, the other guy, he says, I mean, just in the video, it's on Unscrambled, but there are 5 news companies.
Yes.
That's it.
That's
5.
right.
And even Bill Cooper said it, didn't he? Sat there saying 5. There's 5 of them.
That's right. Yes. So they all are, as in some degree, they're all working for the government and putting out narratives, and just that some of them are
Yeah, we're
giving
being
different
used.
sides.
Come with us, vote for us through the television.
Right. That's right. And I think they're all working toward an agenda to just show all this violence, and maybe maybe some people from the Black Lives Matter movement put in some of the violence, because
And it's starting to look like we're Iran and Iraq.
Yes, that's right. And so it's just a way to try to, like I said before, I think they just want to bring the United Nations to rule over us, and it won't be anything that even is free at all. It'll just be very controlled, and that's the last thing we would want. But I think that's what their goal is. That's what they're trying to promote.
Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome.
A total of 59 police officers were injured in this demonstration against police violence.
When you listen to this, Amy, we seem to be talking about all sorts of different organisations. Now this is attacks on the police station. I thought we were doing Black Lives Matter, and what else is in here? He's putting everything together, isn't he? He's putting it all together as it's one thing, but it's not.
Sounds like it.
But you know what? If the people are protesting like this, then they're saying something's wrong.
Right. They're saying something's wrong.
I don't know about Black Lives Matter, because obviously I'm putting a little bit of video in here about what other people think that it's about. But what is it? What are they doing? What are they doing, Amy? It's not. I thought we were doing the others. Who's he talking about? The police? Them? Us?
Yeah, I know. So first he was saying about I guess that the protesters were violent against the police, but then he said something about the police violence. Some people I read, they think that the police, they blame the police, that the police tried to instigate the violence to get everything stirred up real badly. So
as they all work together, I doubt it very much. It's all controlled.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that it doesn't seem like anybody really knows exactly what happened. It just everything got out of hand, but I think that...
That's it, we believe what they're telling us.
Yes.
I mean, I just want to say, when you go to the White House and the only people are allowed in are the press, there you go. There you go.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's
anyway,
true.
On to the next bit, Amy.
CNN would like you to believe they attacked themselves. They did not. Not in Seattle, not anywhere. In Oakland, mobs with helmets and shields attacked a police station. They shot cops with fireworks. They set fire to a courthouse. Here are pictures of it. According to ABC News, the rioters you just saw were, quote, protesters. They burned the courthouse, quote, after a peaceful demonstration intensified. Oh, intensified. Just like the World Trade Center collapsed when a commercial airline flight intensified. It's remarkable. You've got to believe there are still normal people working at ABC News, maybe in the tape library or in the cafeteria. Are they watching their own coverage? How can they stand it? The apologies for violence, the relentless, shameless lying. It's hard to believe they haven't resigned. They probably have mortgages and kids. You feel for them, just as you feel for the cameramen who had to flee the mob in Sacramento over the weekend. They were surrounded and apparently assaulted by 150 Joe Biden voters dressed in black paramilitary gear and had to run for their lives. You'd think other journalists would be sympathetic to this. They used to be, not anymore. The stakes are too high. We've got an election coming up. And so instead they lied to provide cover for the rioters, the ones who threatened the cameraman.
It's quite confusing when you listen to him.
Isn't it? I know.
And then what did he mention? The election.
Yes.
Yeah, again, the election. So the only people are fighting is that lot. Because they want, whoever it is wants the power. It's them. This is a war. This is a war called the election.
Exactly.
Do you think so, Amy?
I do. It's all about the.
They're putting us in a war. It's like bullying
Yeah.
tactics round us, just to make us vote for them. Not me particularly. I'm English, but you know what I mean.
Right, exactly. That's right.
Do you think that?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, then we'll move on to the next bit.
The Sacramento Bee took pains to tell you that the protests were actually peaceful. The newspaper did its best to downplay the violence, including the fact that so-called protesters were trying to disarm police helicopters with laser pointers. One of the peaceful protesters ran through the streets with a chainsaw in order to block traffic. No problem, nothing to see here. Meanwhile, at mostly peaceful protests in Austin and Aurora, Colorado, people were shot. In downtown Louisville, heavily armed militia and military outfits walked through the city threatening violence if police officers weren't sent to jail. No problem, just a protest. In Milwaukee, a black Trump supporter named Burnell Trammell was executed in front of his office in broad daylight. He was killed. In Portland, Oregon, police seized a bag filled with rifle magazines and Molotov cocktails. Not a big deal. City leaders in Portland have ignored 60 straight days of rioting. It's fine, they say. Really? Here's how Portland looked over the weekend.
I don't think Tucker Carlson is explaining that he's including all sorts of different organisations and clumping it all together. I mean, this guy who was murdered is holding a sign saying Donald Trump.
Yes, right. So, I guess, well, unless they're saying that if you're for Trump, that you're going to end up being murdered or something.
Well, Marilyn says that the press are against Trump, right? So Tucker Carlson looks like he's going in favour of Trump and against the Democrats and the deep state and all that stuff. That's what I think.
Yeah, right, because the Fox News is the one that goes
We'll
along
probably
with
need
the
a wall
Republican
put in place
side.
after this. It'll lead to the wall, Amy.
Yes, right, and I've just never seen so much drama around an election and everything. It's just like
They've been planning
I don't
this
know what they're
election,
doing.
right? They've been planning this
Yes.
election for months now. For
Yes.
months now. November last year, so we had a year to go. They were talking about the upcoming elections. It's the same
Exactly.
thing in here. It's all to do with the elections. Money.
That's right.
All to make us look like we're killing each other off. Remember? Crime Watch Daily did that, didn't they, on YouTube? Maybe their figures have gone down and they needed people to watch the television. But
That's right.
it's just awful.
And,
Sorry, I just find this awful. I just don't understand why Tucker's using all the things put together.
I think just a way to subtly confuse people, you know, like mixed messages, but it's done kind of subtly.
Yeah, well,
And
like
they
that
break it
reporter
down.
about the Middle East that we showed on RT News.
Yes.
She did the same. Anyway, on to the next bit, Amy.
Okay.
I was whizzing through because obviously what they're trying to do is promote that we are at war with each other, that this is a war, bang bang, and now, you know, this footage can go out on anybody else's TV and there's all this fighting, we're at war. And then I suddenly noticed that the smoke up here, not that you can read it properly, but the smoke up here has letters, and look at that, WB.V, whatever it is, the smoke has got letters in it. That's a 3. Do you see that 3? Now it's a 5. Something happens over here as well. Look at that. What's that? 5? Something there? JI, whatever that is there. Do you see that? Look, 5. There. There. Unbelievable.
This isn't fine. It's not normal. It's not a protest. These aren't children. These are adults. And they're destroying our country. They're completely out of control. They're violent. Are they punished? No. Where's the Justice Department in this? Don't we have an Attorney General? Isn't he supposed to be conservative? Why are we allowing this? Chad Wolf runs the Department of Homeland Security. Wolf, whatever you think of him, has been one of the very few officials in Washington who seems to notice that any of this is happening. He sent federal law enforcement to Portland to keep the mob from burning down the federal courthouse there, which the mob does not own. It's federal property. They have no right to torch it. It's not theirs. It's ours.
Hey, Amy, I've come back onto the recorder. Sorry, Amy. Amy, I just wanted to bring that bit in. Tucker Carlson says it's a federal building. It's not yours. It's ours. And me and Amy have got a little disagreement here, haven't we, Amy? No, we haven't really. But Amy, you think he's trying to say something else, but he doesn't say that. He says it's a federal building. It's not yours. It's ours. He would have said it's a federal building. It's not yours. It belongs to them. He didn't. He said, but us. It's ours.
Right. So I was thinking about it because my original take on it was he was trying to say that, it belongs to the country. But then I thought about it some more after you made your point, and it reminded me of when the Hillary Clinton, those WikiLeaks came out from her emails or whatever, and the guy on CNN, I think it was Chris Cuomo, said, "Oh no, you people can't read it. Only we have the right to read it. Only we, the news, have the right to read it." And he said, we are the ones, it's not your job to know what to think. It's our job to tell you what to think. Literally something along those lines.
Wow.
So
because
I
they're
got
all
to
part of the
thinking
same
about
thing.
it. And I think you're right in rethinking it. I think that you're right that it's just it was a subtle way for Tucker Carlson to say it's ours, it's the media. Like everything is controlled by the media. So yeah, because I reconsidered it, listening to how you were saying it. And
sorry,
so,
Amy, because he doesn't say it's ours. He'd say it's theirs.
Right.
The police's, or whatever, the federation.
Yeah. He should have said it belongs to the country or whatever. Now, it's not just yours, it's the whole country. But he didn't. He said it's not yours, it's ours. So I rethought it. And I think that he's saying, just like Chris Cuomo of CNN.
You've got to be careful because they're always giving you messages and you're not listening.
Yes. Exactly, and he said, that's our job. It's our job to tell you what to think. Like, excuse me.
Yeah, that's right. He was right about that, wasn't he?
Right.
No, I'm not agreeing with it, everybody, but I'm saying that's exactly what they do.
Exactly, and so I think Tucker Carlson, that was, I could be wrong, but I think it was his subtle way of saying, everything is ours, everything
you think they're warning us?
To the
you
media.
think this is all a warning to the people from them?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, you mean like a warning that everything is controlled by media? And because media is really just another branch of the government now.
Yeah.
So you think it's like a warning that they're taking over.
Okay, Amy, we've got to 3 minutes. We've got to move on. Right, I'm just going to do this bit. Amy's going to listen because she can't see it. There's like a little man in there. He's got letters and things going on in here. There's a V. Well, now we've zoomed in. I said it was a 2, but it looks like there's 2 numbers there. Not sure what it is, but there's a V. What, V for victory? And then we'll start to go down his face and have a look. I think we're going to be going down. He's got something in there. He's got bruises on his face. And then when we get down to his beard, oh my God. It is absolutely covered in numbers, which we're going to get to in just a minute. They're starting now. I'm going to go down a bit further. Come on then. On top of his lip, he's got these really weird things going on. Yeah, there we go. His whole chin has got letters on it. Look at that one. It's like E-E-J. I don't know what it is. Me and Amy can't actually see the words properly, but we know that they're letters and numbers. What's that there? There's like a whole word there, like was, on his chin. It's just yuck. You better not be doing this to me. Any pictures they've got of me. Anyway, Amy's been listening. Oh yeah, and there's the 21 underneath his lip. Well, there's numbers there. Look, there's a number underneath his lip. He's probably got them on his neck as well, because they all seem to have numbers on their necks as well. Anyway.
Okay.
Sorry everybody. I've got to move Amy along.
Yes, but he's maybe warning us that no, it's not the people. It's not we the people who are in control. It's the government and the media.
Yeah, that's right. And it's probably the media. Everybody else is just a bunch of actors. But anyway, let's move on, Avi.
Okay.
For doing that, for being one of the very few to actually push back a little bit, he was punished. The mob came to Chad Wolf's home yesterday, and they threatened him and his family. And they didn't do it subtly. There wasn't subtext. They said it out loud on camera. Watch.
We must make social consequences for these men and women. Yeah. We must make it uncomfortable for them. We will not be good Germans.
Amy, first of all, no one likes anybody turning up and, the press on your door or people protesting outside your house. I'd hate it if there was loads of people protesting outside my house. But did you hear what she just said? She said Germans. These people are protesting about something else somewhere else.
Yeah, I guess when she said Germans, she was trying to make a reference to Nazis, but I found it very offensive because what she's saying about German people, I didn't like that.
But don't forget, they've stuck that piece of footage in. Unfortunately, it's placed one word which nobody would have listened to. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
What I mean is that protest was something completely different, probably. And they've stuck it in there.
Exactly. Yes, that's a great point, Karen. Yes.
Do you see what I mean? You've got to watch, look and see what they do to us. They're not expecting anybody to break the footage down. Anyway, on to the next bit,
right.
Amy. I don't like that because I think that person's protesting somewhere different. That's another, whatever it is, wherever it is. She said, we Germans. There's nothing to do with
that was very strange.
that other person, that wolfy bloke. Anyway, on to the next bit.
We are angry neighbors. This man lives here quietly.
So, this wolfy bloke, they're supposed to be protesting, right? But standing there, right, on the signs it says, resist Trump's troops. It says, make Trump feel sad. Vote. And then it's a bit hard to read the other ones, but I don't think this is not what he's saying. This is another. Then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 people.
Wow.
Anyway, Amy, we'll just put that bit in. Do you want to say something?
Oh, I just don't know what that part is about. Resist Trump's
They've got
troops.
masks on.
Yeah.
All
I
of them
no
have got
idea.
masks on.
Wow. Yeah, that's really
So
crazy.
they're supporting all the other rules of the country, but supposedly going against this one man.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up.
Yes, it's great. It doesn't add up.
Okay, Amy.
And is able to live just like us.
Oh, he's starting to figure out why the Department of Justice isn't actually doing anything, why they haven't frog marched the leaders of Antifa in front of the camera, why they haven't stopped this stuff, why they're acting like they're powerless. Maybe they don't want mobs like this in front of their houses.
When I was looking at that woman, Amy, on one of the signs, although they look like they're handwritten, it said gas. It says against Trump's troops. It says something totally different to what he's saying.
Yes.
Do you see how he's playing on our sympathy when actually those protesters are protesting about something different? And he said mob, but there's about 10 people there.
Well.
Do you see what he's doing? He's promoting the violence.
Right. He's trying to make it look more violent than it was.
Yes, like video after video, Seattle, here, there, everywhere. Anyway, on to the next bit, Amy.
Okay.
Maybe mob violence works. We must make it uncomfortable for them, she says, in a megaphone. What does that mean? Well, we don't need to guess, because we just spent all weekend watching what it means.
Amy, I'm really confused with Tucker here. He's saying so many things here. Look what he's putting in. I mean, we don't really want to mention the organisation he did, but you said, what did you just say to me?
Well, I said that he's saying that the reason why he's trying to act like the government officials don't want to stop the riots or whatever because they're afraid of having these mobs appear at their homes as well.
They're here, they're there, they're everywhere.
Yes, right. And it's very confusing what he's trying to express.
I think that he's promoting the violence.
I think so too. Trying to make it look very violent, like a war zone, like you were saying.
Yeah, but all he's doing is promoting it. Anyway, on to the next bit, Amy. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Oh, Amy, I love you.
Oh, I love you too, Karen.
Right, on to the next bit.
Here's the contrast that we should never forget. Things change so quickly you imagine things have always been this way, but they haven't. There's a presidential election a few months from now. If you disagree with what Chad Wolf has done, you get to vote against Chad Wolf's boss. And Chad Wolf would be out of a job. That's the way we used to do it when this was a democracy, but not anymore. Now they just go and threaten Chad Wolf's children, and the media applaud.
Oh, the famous word democracy was used. We've never had a democracy. We're not in a democracy. We never have been. And Chad, you should know this. Sorry, Tucker. Tucker Carlson, you should know this.
That's exactly right.
That whole statement there.
Yes.
You know, this is all to do with the election, and they are ramping this all up.
Go ahead and make this easier for the dummies because they're so lazy. I can't make this up. This is Black Lives Matter. I'm gonna click on the donate button. You give money to Black Lives Matter, that money's going to shit that's not going to Black Lives Matter. Now, I proved it. You guys can go look yourself. Don't give any money to Black Lives Matter because it's about destroying this nation. Don't you understand that? And bringing communism in here. Floyd's family wants the United Nations to police this country. And if you're a Democrat and you don't like Republicans, George Bush Sr., he addressed the nation, look it up. He wants a new world order with the United Nations to police the world. And that's why the mainstream media and social media has been attacking police and sheriff's offices, so you don't like them anymore. So we would go, oh, we want to reset, we want something new, and they'll bring the UN in. You have no idea what's going on. Start opening your eyes. Ed Mack.
My name is Joey Rocha, and I'm excited to bring you this news today. Thank you for joining me for an episode of Q&A on the Black Lives Matters movement. Here's the great news. People are waking up to the fact that the Black Lives Matters movement is an evil, pure evil movement. And the good news is that you see at these Black Lives Matters protests, you see anti-Black Lives Matters people going and protesting against them, saying, look, there is no such thing as systemic racism. There is no racism going on in America. I was watching for the last few days, and I'm so excited and so impressed to see that people are standing up to this evil, evil movement. A lot of people think that the Black Lives Matters movement is for black people, but Black Lives Matters don't matter to the Black Lives movement.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
Exactly, it is. It is. And it reminds me of those clips when you can put a whole bunch of newscasters together and they all say, this is a danger to our democracy. You know, a lot of people use those clips to show that the media all say the same thing. And it's never been democracy. At best, it's been a constitutional republic, not a true democracy. But they
His
love
neck
to
looks
use
really
that
funny
word.
where I've stopped it as well, Amy. He's got no lines or marks or anything down his neck. I can't see well, he's got like an S on his neck, but yeah, anyway, I'm just not sure of Tucker Carlson, as I've said. Anyway, let's move on to the next bit. Duh.
Okay.
Well, talking about democracy. We don't have democracy at all. If we did, places like YouTube wouldn't be doing what they're doing, and Facebook and the news wouldn't be doing this. Anyway, you're owned, mate. Anyway.
Last month, a radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant mocked reports that his city was descending into chaos. These were peaceful protests, he suggested. On Twitter, Gallant reported that he saw, quote, no burning, pillaging, or deaths. Of course, those things were happening. They existed. We show you tape of it at the time. But Gallant pretended otherwise. We don't know why. We'd have to assume because he thought it would help his team. Then the rioters showed up in the building where he lives, in his apartment building, and they destroyed the Starbucks downstairs. And that scared him. Now Gallant says he's buying a gun. It turns out it's not so easy to lie about violence when it's aimed at you.
So, in all this mob fighting and everything that's going on, one person makes a comment, right? One person makes a comment, and look how it's turned into this story, Amy. And one other thing, the video finishes, written on the wall, and the writing underneath is like the writing we see in the buildings, except you can see it. You know, it's the same kind of thing. You'll see what I mean when you watch it. And it says, abolish the police. That's what it says. Abolish the police.
Well...
Because they want to bring in martial law. They don't want us to have police anymore. They want us to be run by the military. And he's promoting this and helping it. He's using these videos. You know, if you don't want something, you don't have a video that says abolish the police on it. And one person makes a comment, and he was probably telling the truth. He didn't see anything, and they've made all this up.
That's right. It's terrible. That's right.
Oh, didn't know. Last thoughts from you, Amy.
Oh, well, we just, everything that we're seeing in the media is just all about bringing about this agenda, and whether they're trying to sound like they're on the good people's side or, you know, the right side, they are just going along with the agenda to usher in that new world order, in my opinion. But whether they're blatant about it like CNN, or Fox is more like the controlled opposition, so they'll tell you what when the surface sounds good, but when you look into it a little deeper like we've done, you can see the same type of doublespeak, and they're promoting the same type of thing. Yeah. So don't trust any mainstream media.
And just to say one more thing, because I know Amy can't see it right now, but she will be watching the video. It's showing a shop front here, and I'm just wondering whether, you know, does this go with this? Look, there's wood here. I don't know. There's tiles down there. There's glass. I don't know. Is this the same place? Is this made up for us? I don't know. I just don't know. Amy, it's all crazy. You have to think about what these people are saying to you. There's no such thing as democracy. They're lying to us, and including all sorts of different little fractions that maybe, you know, those against the police, those against black lives, putting it all as one big mesh, and saying that we're at war. Even Tucker Carlson says it.
Exactly, that's right, Karen.
Well, we're not, are we?
That's right, the only word.
We surrendered overnight without one soldier, one police officer for that pandemic. We are not doing what they're lying to us again.
Exactly. That's right.
Thanks for that, Amy. Thank you so much for helping me on this video. It's always
welcome,
fun
Karen.
with Amy.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, I really enjoy it.
Thank you, Amy.
Yes, you're welcome.